It is very hard to write my story because I have to get over the shame I feel for my past situation that resulted in an unplanned pregnancy. Along the years, I tried to speak about it to a few people, but I ended up telling half-truths and what I thought at the time were lies. Nevertheless, I knew I wanted so badly to tell my story to a trusting and not judgmental person. The only one I told the whole truth to was my therapist a couple years later. This is now my true story. I had a bitter divorce at age 26 from a marriage that lasted 2 years. I turned to alcohol and pills with the intention of blacking out to forget my pathetic circumstances, and oftentimes, I woke up in someone's random apartment, not knowing how I got there. I met 3 different men on separate occasions and would bounce back and forth between spending the night with them, each not knowing I had other lovers. Only one of them did I truly have feelings for, but felt so ashamed to show it because I was betraying his trust by sleeping with 2 other men. I stopped using birth control 1 month prior because I was determined after the divorce I wouldn't trust another man in bed, except the alcohol and pills made me act otherwise. I was careless having unprotected sex because in a way, I thought my body and life isn't worth it anymore. I missed my period and took a test, of course, turning out to be positive. Never once did I feel I was going to keep it because I didn't know which of the 3 men got me pregnant. I turned to the man I had feelings for, saying I got pregnant from my ex-husband the last month we were still married. I still don't know why I confided in him, but I thought he'd be supportive. He accompanied me to Planned Parenthood, and I scheduled my abortion. 3 different clinicians encouraged me to have a medical abortion, saying I would miscarry at home and it feels like a heavy period. I got the pills, went home, and decided it's best to be alone during the process. I ate a big breakfast as directed and waited for the pills to kick in. It didn't take long until I ran to the bathroom and had intense diarrhea accompanied by heavy bleeding and cramps. I had to pee, vomit, bleed, and poop at the same time and went to the shower to expel everything. I cried and my nose was snotting. Basically, every orifice in my body was expelling bodily fluids. I am a doula, childbirth coach, and use my birthing methods to overcome the pain, but it was still excruciating. I felt I was being punished and deserved all the pain that was raw and embarrassing. I still bled after 2 weeks, something they said would pass. So I went for my follow-up appointment, and lo and behold, I was still pregnant with remaining tissue inside my uterus. No one told me that was a risk, and that risk can also lead to septicemia that can kill me. I ended up with a DNC with a doctor that looked at my file and said flatly, "I see the pills didn't work. Well, I'm sorry about that." I started bawling. For the first time, I cried, and the anesthesiologist yelled at me, "Stop crying," because apparently my airways needed to be fully clear when I undergo general anesthesia. I didn't know that either. For years, I bottled the experience and wanted to talk about it. I lied to some clients that told me they had miscarried in the past, saying that I too miscarried once, and I understand their pain. I felt terrible afterwards for lying, but somewhat relieved to say at least a half-truth. I went to a post-abortion support group, also saying I got pregnant by my ex-husband because I didn't want to seem like a whore who got pregnant by who knows. I talked to a girl recently who sought my doula advice because she was freshly post-abortion and was undergoing severe stress. I told her my story and then felt compelled to seek counseling and tell my true story. She was a godsend that helped me open up my floodgates, and now this is my story. I am no longer afraid to say I got pregnant by one of 3 men. I was 26 years old. I come from a religious background where this situation is shameful, and I lied to my clients about miscarrying. But all in all, I am proud to say I stuck to my decision and never regretted getting an abortion. I am happy now that I had the choice to keep or terminate, and I am happy that my body can conceive. I feel free now, but the shame still sets in every now and then, like when I see a mother with a 3-year-old, because that would have been me. My doula clients are becoming mothers, and that also pains me sometimes because I would have been that 3 years ago. I sometimes feel that I'll still be punished and that my next pregnancy will result in a miscarriage or that my babies will have deformities or another disability. That is my struggle. But this is why I'm writing my story, because finally admitting the truth is making up for all those years I kept silent. I hope I inspire others to not be ashamed of their true story either. Yael.